In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the water pump on this Buick Encore. This is going to be located on the front part of the engine. Let's get into it. I'm going to remove this push pin here. Just use a trim tool. Pull that out. Take that screw out. Use a T20 socket. Pull that out and do the same on the other side. Remove this cover. Use a 10mm socket. Take this bolt out. And the other side. Using a T20 socket, take these screws out in the back. And take the push pins out. Just use a trim tool. And grab the cover and pull it down. We're going to take this shield off, use a 10mm socket, take these bolts out. Using a 7mm socket, take these screws out. This one's a T20. And just grab the panel, slide it back, and it comes right down. Now with a drain bucket underneath, and I'm just going to put a hose on the end of this. You could just drain it into the bucket if you want, but it makes it a little cleaner. Just put that on the drain there, and then we can open up the valve. Just loosen this up on the radiator. And we'll just drain the coolant. There we go. Now the coolant's coming out. I'll just drain the coolant out. Now the coolant's drained out. Close the valve. And if you put a hose on there, you can remove the hose. Disconnect the connector for the mass airflow sensor. There's a little lock tab. You're going to push that up. If you need to, use a straight blade screwdriver. Just pop that up. Then you can push down on the tab there. Slide that off. Using a trim tool, there's a retainer back here. Pop the retainer off, move that wire out of the way. We're going to remove the snorkel. Use a 7mm socket, loosen up the clamp right here. That loose, then just grab that, slide that up out of the way, just so nothing falls in the hole. I'm just going to put a rag. Just make sure you remove it before you put it back together. That's good right there. Now we're going to pop this pipe out of the way. Just grab a trim tool, you can pop this up, and that pulls off like that. And grab the airbox, pop it up, and then towards the center of the vehicle. There's a couple pins that hold it in. Now with a floor jack underneath the vehicle and a block of wood, you're going to raise and support underneath the engine. You're going to go right near the edge of the oil pan or near one of the corners. It's going to be stronger there, and we're just going to take a little bit of the tension off the engine mount. That's good. We're going to take these 3 nuts off, use a 15mm socket. And we're going to take these 3 bolts out, use the same 15mm socket. It is recommended that you replace these bolts. Now using a 15mm socket, we're going to take these 3 bolts out on this bracket. You can get them from up top. Loosen those up. There's another one right here. They're not going to come out, but you can at least loosen them. You're going to have to come out with the bracket. And you might have to raise up on the floor jack a little bit. There we go, they're all loose. Just grab the bracket, tip it up. We're going to have to raise up on the floor jack. Once you get this over, you can pull some of those bolts out, even this one, and then it comes right off. Loosen up the bolts for the pulley for the water pump. We're going to use a E socket. This is a E12 socket. Loosen these up. I'm not going to take them off, but it's easier to do this while the belt is still on. There we go. Now we're going to take the tension off the tensioner. I am going to use a hex key. There is a hole right next to the tensioner. This is a 4mm hex key. That's where the hole is. Then use an E14 socket. So you don't want to push the hex key in all the way. Take the tension off the belt, and we're going to push the hex key in. And the belt is loose. You can slide the belt off the tensioner. Work that off. You have to loosen up the tension a little bit more just to make it easier. There we go. Take the belt off the alternator and take it off the water pump pulley. You can just slide it out of the way. Now we can take these bolts off the pulley. Pull that off. We're using a straight blade screwdriver. There's a lock on this connector for this coolant temp sensor. Just slide up. Slide that lock up, then push down on the switch, or push down and push down on the tab. Slide the connector out. You can see where the hose connects right here. We're going to pop that hose off. Get underneath this clip, pull this clip out. You want to make sure you have a drain bucket underneath because you're probably going to lose a little coolant when you pop it off. There we go. You can just get it into service position, or you can just pull it off completely, either one. And grab the hose, slide that off. And it was dry, there was no coolant in there, that's fine. Now we're going to take the water pump bolts out. We're going to use an E10 socket. Make sure you have a drain bucket underneath. Some coolant will drip out. All right, we'll take all those bolts out. These bolts are different sizes, so if you want to pay attention to where they come out. When you get the bolts out, there's a little tab right here. You can use a pry bar. Just pop that out. There we go. Let the coolant drain into a bucket. And pull that off. And there's a hose back here. We'll take this off. Just use the hose clamp pliers. And just move those. And use a pick. Just get underneath there. So you can loosen that up. Just pop that off. And there's another hose attached to the thermostat. And there's a hose attached to the thermostat back here. I'm just going to use some hose clamp pliers. And just move that hose clamp. Slide that down. Just loosen up the hose right here. Pop that off and slide it up. We're going to transfer over the thermostat housing to the new water pump. Use a E10 socket. Take these bolts out. Pull that off. See, there's a seal on the back side here. Just wipe some of that off with a rag. Use a pick. Just get underneath the seal. There's a little cutaway right there. Pull that seal off. Just clean that area up a little bit. Just use a little brake parts cleaner. Wipe that off with a rag. Take the new seal, line this up. There's a little tab right there, goes in that slot. And just push it in place. Get this lined up on the new pump. Bolts started. Snug these down. I'm going to torque these bolts to 71 inch-pounds. That's good. Now you want to take the gasket off on the engine. I'm just going to use a razor blade, but you can use a scraper. Just get underneath. Try to pull that off. Just be careful. And just get as much of that gasket material off as you can. Definitely make sure it's not raised up. That looks pretty good. Now take the pump. We're going to get this hose lined up. Slide that on. And move the clamp. Use the hose clamp pliers. Get that in position. That looks good. Yeah, take the other hose. Get this lined up. Yeah, we'll move that hose clamp. That's in position. Now we'll take the gasket, get this lined up. Make sure that's all the way around the pump. I'm going to take two of the shorter bolts. One's going to go right here. Get that started through the gasket. It's going to hold the gasket on. And then the other one's going to go over here at the end. Make sure those are lined up. Now I'll take the pump, get this lined up. Get those two bolts started. And just, if you can, double check the gasket, make sure it's in the right position. Take another short bolt, that's going to go right there. Get that started. Another short bolt right here. And then one more short bolt at the bottom. It's going to go right there. Those are all the short bolts. Now we're going to do the medium bolts. It's going to be right beside the top one. All the way to the right at the base. And one more on the bottom here. That's all the medium ones. Now we get the long ones right here. And on the side here. That's all the bolts. That's where they go. Just push the pump on to make sure the seal is good. And then you can start snugging these down. Now we'll torque these bolts to 71 inch-pounds. And just work your way from the center outward. And then this bolt right here, you're gonna tighten this an additional 30 degrees. And this one down here, this one an additional 30 degrees. Just those two. I'm gonna take the hose, I'm gonna put this clip back on. Push that in place, that's good. Just gonna put a little silicone on the O-ring there, just so it smooths, so it goes on smooth. And get this lined up. Lock it in place. Take the connector, line the connector up. Plug the connector in, push down on the lock. Now install the pulley. Get the bolt started. Snug those down. I'm going to torque these to 16 foot-pounds. It's going to be kind of hard to hold the pulley. You could do this after the belt is on, or you can use a 24mm wrench and just hold the pulley from spinning. And we'll torque these to 16 foot-pounds. Take the belt, we're going to go around the crank pulley, around the AC pulley, around the tensioner pulley. Actually, we'll pull it in front of the tensioner pulley, then around the alternator and the water pump. Just see if you can get it around the tensioner pulley. Get it close. And using the socket, just take a little bit of the tension off the pulley. There we go. That's good. It's around all the pulleys correctly. And you can take the pin out, or the Allen key. Hex key. Now take the bracket, get this lined up. Make sure you have the bolts in there. Just going to raise the engine up a little bit. Get that in place. Get all the bolts started. It's a little tricky. If you can get a torque wrench in there, you want to torque these bolts to 46 foot-pounds. This one's a little tight. Do the best you can. Take the front engine mount, get this lined up a little bit. We're gonna have to lower the engine just slightly. And get the bolts lined up. Get those started. Pull the engine back a little bit. That lines up, so either raise or lower the engine as you needed. Just try to get this to line up as close as possible. Snug these down. Put the nuts on. Snug these down. The nuts we're going to torque to 47 foot-pounds. And the bolts 37 foot-pounds. An additional 60 degrees. I'll take the airbox, slide that in place, get the 2 pins that go in the side, and then push it into the grommet down below. Take the wire and push that retainer in. I'll connect the connector for the mass airflow sensor, lock it down, take the rag off, connect this hose, and we'll tighten down the clamp. Snug that down, give it a wiggle, that's good. Take this tube, get this lined up, push it in place. All right, get this panel lined up. In. And you want to start these screws on the outer side. Do not put the screws in the middle 2 areas. That is where the other panel goes. Same with this side. Get that started. And tighten these down. And the screws up front. Get these started. Snug these down. And there should be a couple others. This vehicle is missing a few. And there's a screw right here. Tighten that down. And a push pin right here. Lock it down. And do the same on the other side. And take this panel, take the 2 tabs that go in the slots right there and there. Get this lined up. And about halfway down, put the push pins in. Lock it down. Same with the other side. Lock it down. Put the screws in. Tighten these down. And put these push pins in. And put these screws in. And tighten them down. You want to loosen up the bleed screw on the top of the radiator. You can use a straight blade screwdriver. Then we're going to top off the coolant in the reservoir, take the cap off the reservoir. Using the correct mixture of coolant, top it off until you start seeing some coolant come out of the vent screw. Then you want to close up the vent screw and snug that up. Then you want to continue adding the coolant till you get to the fill mark. Now we're going to start the engine, allow the engine to run and stabilize, double checking the level, adjust if you need to. After about a minute, install the cap. And from inside the vehicle, we're going to raise the RPMs to 2,500 RPM with your foot on the accelerator for about 30 to 40 seconds. Shut the vehicle off, allow the engine to cool. Once it is cool, you can take the reservoir cap off again, top the coolant off, put the cap on, start the engine, run it for about 20 minutes, monitoring the temperature gauge to make sure the engine's not overheating. Shut the vehicle down, allow it to cool one more time, and then adjust the level accordingly.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.